Welcome back, everyone. The next biogeochemical cycle that we'll discuss is the nitrogen cycle. So, as before, the first question I'm going to ask you is, why is nitrogen important? What organic molecules contain nitrogen atoms? And if you did your homework assignment correctly, you hopefully have reviewed that DNA contains nitrogen atoms and proteins. So the monomers of DNA are called nucleotides, and all nucleotides have a nitrogen-containing base as one of their components. So the DNA ladder is just loaded with nitrogen atoms. Likewise, proteins, the monomers of proteins are amino acids, and amino acids have an amine group, NH2. So those are the two organic molecules that are nitrogen-rich. Now consider any plant or any animal, yes, my lovely drawing again, is 50% dry weight of protein. I don't think I said that correctly. 50% of its dry weight are protein molecules. So the moral of the story is this. Protein, again, contains nitrogen, and often nitrogen is the limiting reagent in plant growth. So let's think about this for a minute here. The plant is surrounded by carbon dioxide molecules, and we'll talk about in our next videos that plants have absolutely no problem incorporating carbon dioxide into its body. And it's surrounding also by water molecules. And if a plant doesn't have water molecules, well, then it's just dead. The point is, plants have an abundant source of hydrogen, oxygen, and carbon atoms that it can readily use. And as I just said, the limiting reagent tends to be hydrogen. I meant nitrogen. Yes, I can talk and draw at the same time. Now, the reservoir, remember, all of our biogeochemical cycles have an abiotic reservoir. And the reservoir for the nitrogen cycle is the nitrogen gas in our atmosphere. I'm wondering if you know what percentage of our atmosphere is nitrogen gas. Well, if you were thinking 79%, you are correct. So if you take a breath right now, inhale, 79% of the molecules that you just inhaled are nitrogen gas. So this might confuse you. If the 79% of the molecules surrounding this plant are nitrogen gas molecules, why is nitrogen often the limiting factor for plant growth? Well, the answer lies in chemistry. If you would draw a molecule of nitrogen gas, you would realize that it has a triple covalent bond. So N2, if you draw it like this, you realize it has a triple covalent bond. Just like O2, oxygen gas, it has a double covalent bond. And H2, hydrogen gas, has a single covalent bond. Well, as it happens, triple covalent bonds are stronger than double covalent bonds, which are stronger than single covalent bonds. And as it turns out, absolutely no plant on planet Earth, nor any animal, have the ability to break down N2. They cannot separate that. We lack the enzymes. We just don't know how to do it. We are unable to physically break this down. And because we are unable to break down nitrogen gas, because plants are unable to do this, those 79% of the molecules surrounding them, they are totally unable to use it. So, what do plants do? What do animals do when they are in a metabolic fix? Well, the nice thing about biology is once you learn something once, you see the theme repeated over and over again. And when we're in a metabolic difficulty, we rely on our friends, the bacteria. Yes, so it is not the plants, it is not the animals, it is bacteria that can metabolize the nitrogen gas and turn it into ammonia, NH3. And plants can uptake the ammonia and use it to build their amino acids and use it to build their nucleotides. In fact, if you recall, the amine group in an amino acid is NH2. So it doesn't take a big stretch of imagination to see the plant converting ammonia, NH3, into an amino acid. And if you look at a nitrogen-containing base on a DNA nucleotide, you'll see, again, the NH2 groups. Now, just so we're a little consistent with your textbook, what your book has here is the polyatomic ion ammonium. And yes, chances are this is going to occur in water, and in a water solution, ammonia will pick up a proton and become the ammonium ion. But plants, again, can easily use ammonia or ammonium to build its amino acids for proteins or to build its nucleotides to make DNA. All right, oh, by the way, so this process, this is pretty important here. This process is called nitrogen fixation. Fixation in biology means we take an element and we convert it from gaseous form into a solid form that is usable to a living organism. So again, you cannot just go out and inhale nitrogen gas and incorporate that into your body. But these nitrogen fixing bacteria, they convert the nitrogen gas, the N2s, into ammonia, and the ammonia or ammonium can be incorporated by the plant, who makes amino acids or nucleotides. And then, as we know, once we have the monomers, they can be passed up the food chain. So animals typically, we don't make our amino acids from scratch, we don't make our nucleotides from scratch. So once the nitrogen is incorporated into an organic molecule, it can be passed up from one animal